Well, once again, welcome to the SteamRail workshop. It's been a good morning this morning. I've freed up the pawl for the horizontal feed, and the horizontal feed is now working. I've run it back and forth a couple of times just to free it up a little bit more, and now I'm doing the first cut with the automatic feed. Yep, so you can see here some first chips. So this is just a piece of scrap that I'm cleaning up, and we'll just see how it goes. SteamRail has got a couple of boxes of this old style tooling, which is a good thing to have. It means I won't have to spend too much time grinding up new tooling, at least for the starting bits. One of the things they want to be able to do is to be able to cut keyways and square holes. So that'll all be very handy. So yes, after a reasonable amount of work, the machine is up and running. Things that I've done today is get the horizontal feed running a bit more cleaning. I've put some wicks in the oil wells for the ram. It's a good thing. I think it hasn't had those for a long time. And I unlocked the clapper box, which once I worked out how to do it wasn't all that hard. And now we're just running across that first cut, which is really nice to watch. So I'll let this run for a while off camera, and then we'll see what sort of finish we've got. So after this, I'll be making up some new bits of tooling, T-bolts, lots of bits and pieces, checking out the accuracy of the machine. The specification for Butler is that the ram should be in 1/1000th of an inch over the full length of the ram feed. So that's another thing I'll have to check out. So I'll be back in the group and we'll see how we go. So here we have it, the first cut that this machine has done in a very long time, using a tool which hasn't been sharpened. And as you can see, the cut is a little bit rough, and that is probably because I've got the auto feed set on its maximum rate, maximum step over. So I'm going to redo the cut, and it'll be a fine cut, and I'll have the lowest step over that the machine can do, and we'll see how that finish comes out. But yeah, very nice to see. Lovely to watch it cutting. No hesitation, no vibration, just does the job. So this is the start of the second cut. I've given it a very small cut. I've reduced the step over the horizontal feed amount down to almost as small as it will go. And I'm just checking. Okay, it's not actually feeding. It's just going backwards and forwards. So a little bit more adjustments needed. So here we are again. I've set it up for slightly more horizontal feed, and I can now hear the pawl clicking, and I can see the horizontal feed shaft turning slowly. So it's going to take a little while before that cut starts, but let's see how we go. So it's a very shallow cut. I've lubricated the surface with some slideways oil, and I've just got a little bit before it actually starts. So on this machine, I don't at this stage know what the smallest amount of horizontal feed corresponds to 1, 2 on the feed wheel, but it's taking it rather slowly. So I might bring you back in a few minutes. Now here we are. That second cut, the very fine cut on slow horizontal feed rate has now started, and you can probably see it is a very, very fine cut. So the horizontal down feed on this machine is calibrated very fine. I'll have to work it out, I think. Might be less. I'll need to do some more work, but at the moment we've just got that small feed happening, and I think it's looking pretty nice. So I'll bring you back when it's finished and you'll see what the surface of the crowd looks like. So here is the finish from the second cut. The first cut was with a wide spacing or wide feed on the horizontal feed. This one is a very fine feed, and it took quite a while to do. I'm having a late lunch, but that's okay. Now the surface finish is quite good here, and you can see the round spots, little shiny round spots on this. The piece of metal, before I repurposed it, had things welded on it, and someone had removed it with the grinder, and then I've just machined straight over it. So that's what the little shiny round spots are. Now the other thing which is very nice about this workshop is they've got a couple of big boxes full of metal shaper tooling, including some very interesting slotting tools. Here's one of the slotting tools. Yep, it's a beauty, I would say. Big bar of high-speed steel, and they've carved it out of that. I think after lunch, I'll give it a little try, see how it goes. I think that'll be pretty good. So, I'll be back in a bit. Here we have a tool that I'm trying out on the metal shaper. It's might be a slotting tool, or it might be a lathe tool for parting off. It doesn't have the chip breaker that my slotting tool at home has, and the chip breaker, I found that was needed to stop the chatter, and you can see that there's a bit of chatter occurring with this tool. But that's okay, I've got a whole box full of tools to try, so I'll try the next one and see how that goes. So here we are, the 98-year-old Butler Shaper is working, and that's really good. So crossfeed's working, I've unlocked the clapper box, the nut that holds the angle on the clapper box is still tight, so I'll sort that out next week. That's a small thing, and then next week I'll start making up the boring bar, which we'll use for making slots in internal holes. So that will be the next thing. So we're moving from getting the old shaper working onto tooling up the old shaper and doing some measurements of its accuracy. I suspect that the accuracy is quite reasonable, given that the machine doesn't appear to have been used a lot. But we'll get on to that next week. So thanks for taking part and watching and listening and going through the trials and tribulations. And now we've got a very nice old shaper back in working condition. So see you next week.